Welcome. In today's lecture, I will explain the non-linear effects that occur in the fiber. Now, these light waves, when they are transmitted through the fiber, the photons will have less interaction with each other. Again, they also interact with the fiber, but that is also less. But sometimes the interaction between the photons and the material can affect the optical signal. These processes are referred to as a non-linear effect. These effects are referred as a non-linear effects because the strength of these effects depends on the intensity or the square of or the higher powers of the optical intensity. So there is a non-linear relationship between the output and the input. So these effects are referred as a non-linear effect. So since they depends on the square or some higher powers of the optical intensity, at low power levels the effects are weak. But as the power increases, the strength of the non-linear effects will also increase. And as the light passes through the fiber, the effects can be even more increased. We can categorize the non-linear effects based on two characteristics. One is scattering effect and one is a Kerr effect. Again depend on whether they affect single channel or multiple channels. We have different types. In scattering, the stimulated Brillouin scattering will cause the non-linear effect in the single channel, and stimulated Raman scattering will cause the non-linear effect in multiple channels. These two scattering types I have already explained. So in today's lecture, I will just explain self phase modulation and cross phase modulation with 4-wave mixing. Now these effects are called as a Kerr effect. Let's see what is a self phase modulation. This effect occurs because the refractive index of the fiber depends on the intensity. The relation between the refractive index and the intensity is given by this equation. Here n indicates the refractive index. N0 is the refractive index without any non-linear effect. N2i indicates the refractive index because of the non-linear effect. Now as we define intensity as a power per unit effective area, we can have the equation that the refractive index is directly related with the optical power per unit effective area. We define effective area where the intensity is present. In this case, the N2 is not the cladding refractive index, but this N2 refers to the non-linear index coefficient. P is optical power. So this variation of the refractive index because of the high optical intensity, this effect is called as a Kerr effect. And because of this, it gives rise to the change in the phase of the same channel that we define as a self-phase modulation. So because of this effect, there will be change in the phase and as well as change in the frequency of the same channel, and we call this as a self-phase modulation. The magnitude of this effect is given by gamma 2 pi by lambda N2 by effective area. This N2 refers to the nonlinear refractive index coefficient. Now we know that the instantaneous frequency of the wave is a derivative of its phase. Then if there is a change in the phase, it will also create change in the frequency. So the frequency shift is given by the delta phi, which is d phi by dt. And again it is related with the optical power as gamma L effective dP by dt, where L effective is the effective length of the fiber and P is the transmitted optical power. Since this change in the frequency is related with the derivative of this optical power, and we know that optical power will also affect the refractive index, this phase change or the frequency shift is also related with the derivative of the refractive index. So let us consider the optical pulse launched into the fiber having particular spectral width as shown in the first figure, and the second figure indicates change in the frequency of the wave or the shift in the frequency. Now as we observe the pulse, first it will rise and then will attain the maximum optical power, then again it falls and again it will come back to 0. Now since the refractive index is also affected by this optical power, we can observe the change in the refractive index during the rising time of the pulse. We get the positive derivative, and during the decaying part we get negative derivative. So because of this change in the refractive index, we get the change in the phase of this wave. As you can see in the second figure, the phase change or phase shift is not equal to 0, but during the rising part of the pulse, the phase change is negative, and during decaying part of the wave, the phase change is positive. So the rising edge will shift the pulse towards the lower frequencies, and the trailing edge will shift towards high frequencies. You can observe this from this animation. You can get the clear idea. When there is no change in the phase, the frequency of the pulse will be constant. There is no change in the frequency. But as the phase shift increases, we get change in the frequency. So during the positive phase shift, you can observe the frequency is increased, and during the negative phase shift, the frequency is reduced. So in this way we get the modulation of phase causes change in the frequency of the optical pulse. Then the second effect is called cross phase modulation. Now the dependence of the refractive index on the input pulse intensity can cause the nonlinear effect on the other channels. So this effect we call as a cross phase modulation. So in this process, if power of the one channel is increased, and because of the fluctuations in the power of this channel, it will create phase change in the other channels which are transmitted through same fiber. Normally in WDM technique, multiple channels are transmitted through the single fiber. So in that case, this effect will be present. So if we consider there are I number of channels, then the phase shift in the kth channel can be given by this equation gamma L effective dpk by dt. Now this term dpk by dt refers to the effect of the optical intensity of kth channel on its own phase, that is the cell phase term, plus the summation of all other optical intensities which are causing the phase change, and those will also affect the phase of kth wave. So in this way, because of change in the power of one channel, we get change in the phase of the other channel, and that we define as a cross phase modulation. So the total phase shift depends on the powers in all the channels, and it will vary depending on the beat pattern of the neighboring channels. The next effect is called as a 4-wave mixing. If we consider the WDM system, and let's consider there are 3 waves with angular frequency omega I, omega j and omega k, which are transmitted through the fiber simultaneously. Then because of the non-linear effects, there can be frequencies which are addition and subtraction of these 3 frequencies. So this will create generation of other frequencies, and this we call as a 4-wave mixing. Now because of this we get different sum and difference frequency components within the fiber, but all of these components will not affect the propagation. Only those components where the phase conditions are matched will add up and will generate the 4th wave. So normally it is observed that the component with omega I plus omega j minus omega k have the matching phase, and this will create the problem. So this combination we can define as omega I j k is equal to omega I plus omega j minus omega k. So if you look at this diagram, there are 3 frequencies omega 1, omega 2, omega 3, and let us consider the difference between omega 1 and omega 2 is delta omega. Between omega 2 and omega 3 is also delta omega. So omega 1 plus delta omega is omega 2. Omega 2 plus delta omega is omega 3. And then as per this equation, we can get different frequency components which are shown. Let us consider one component omega 1, 3, 2. So as per the equation, it will be omega 1 plus omega 3 minus omega 2. And omega 3 minus omega 2 is delta omega. So we'll get omega 1 plus delta omega. And omega 1 plus delta omega is nothing but omega 2. So in this way, because of these three frequency combinations, it will affect the omega 2. So we will get crosstalk for this omega 2. Similar way, we can find other combinations omega 223, omega 221, and we will get different frequency components. Now one way to reduce this four-wave mixing is by increasing the dispersion in the optical fiber. We know that this four-wave mixing depends on the matching of the phase condition between the co-propagating channels. So when there is more chromatic dispersion, the signals will travel at different group velocities. And if this chromatic dispersion is more, then the waves will move in out of phase with each other. So this will reduce the four-wave mixing. But if this chromatic dispersion is low, that indicates all the waves will have almost same group velocity, and in that case they will get added and they will produce large number of four-wave mixed frequencies. So this is one way to reduce the four-wave mixing. Next point is the optical soliton. Now that we have discussed, the dispersion causes broadening of the pulse in time domain, and the cell phase modulation causes broadening of the frequency of the pulse. So we can say when the pulse is broadened in the frequency, it will be compressed in time. So the pulse which is broadened because of the chromatic dispersion will get compressed by the self phase modulation. So if the effect of this self phase modulation and the chromatic dispersion can properly adjusted, then we can balance these two effects. The pulse which is resulting from this self phase modulation and group velocity dispersion or chromatic dispersion, it will not experience any kind of effect. That is, the pulse shape will be same as it propagates through the fiber. So the term soliton refers to the special kind of pulses that can propagate without any distortion over a long distance, and they remain unaffected after collisions with each other. The family of pulses that do not undergo any change in shape are called fundamental soliton, and some pulses can undergo periodic changes. They are called as higher order solitons. So you'll get the clear idea from this figure. The dispersion causes broadening in time, and the nonlinear effect such as self phase modulation causes broadening in frequency. So if these two effects are balanced, we can get pulse without any change in its shape. So this is called as a optical soliton. So you can observe in this diagram, on the z-axis it indicates the distance along the fiber. It is in time. So as this pulse moves along the fiber, As the distance increases, because of the dispersion, pulse width gets increased. So this we define as a dispersion. Then, because of the non-linear effect, the pulse will be broadened in frequency and we get the pulses having same shape. So these pulses are called first order or fundamental soliton. There is no change in the pulse shape as it travels through the fiber. This figure gives one example of the third order soliton, where the change in the shape of the pulses will be repeated after some time. So this is a third order soliton. So this is all about the non-linearities in optical fiber. Thank you.